Okay, so I was a little unclear on what you saw, excuse me, with what you were talking about with regard to you used to being seeing it mirrored and how we had the machine set up. And so I need to make this to, because there is a difference in the output actually. And I wasn't sure which was the one that you said you wanted. So I made two files. This is the one that simulates in the back, and the origin is set up in this corner in the Bobcat UCS. One thing you have to remember is anytime you start moving that around and everything, you have to reselect the geometry and compute the toolpath, or it doesn't show up properly in the simulator. So this is the simulation of when we set up the other day with your machine model all rotated back facing the other way, and everything seems to come out pretty good. Everything works good and looks right on the machine and the model. You know, the cut happens over here and everything, and all these values show the same as this move list over here. Let's see if I can get that to show on my shrunken screen here. So this move list here comes out with those numbers, the 343 and the 156 for the X's and the Y's and that stuff. So now when I rotated, and so the only deal with that is you have to rotate to the back of the model. And is that how you're used to seeing the workpiece set up, which is completely flipped on the machine that way? So I have this other one. This is the one where I rotated the machine model to face us in this workspace here. So the back of it is back here, and your Y table is moving that way, and then the X is we're looking as if we're looking at the machine now. And what that does is has the sim just open up right. And so I'll show you that one. So just right away, we open up the simulator, and we're looking at the machine, and it's basically the same setup. It's cutting the same thing as it was the other way, and the move list is the same, right? There's the same 343 numbers and everything you're talking about. However, what I just went into now was when we post with your back-facing machine. The X and Y values, although all I started looking for originally was I was looking for the minus and negative and everything. The X and Y for your back-facing machine outputs the same numbers as the move list, which is the X and Y and everything. So now if we go to the one that I rotated around, and actually, let me get out of the sim, and then I set the machine set up this way, it outputs code with different numbers. So what I think is happening, it's 743 and 443. So what I think is happening though is it's simulating and everything as if it was set up like this, remember? So as from this UCS on your machine, the simulation, but it's actually cutting it as if it was up here. When we turn on the simulation, since I put this definition here, when we start the simulation in the rotated model, it's going to show this pocket over here, which is the way it's set up on here, right? It's that same mirrored thing, but the code is actually coming out. I think that it's popping up over here, and so that's the difference. And the one way you can see that too is if I edit the origin on my file, and then I just run the simulation without reselecting the geometry. Then that'll show that. So now it's so that's what I think's happening. It's although the simulation is now showing over here, which is where that coordinate system is, the code is actually cutting up here, right? I'm kind of guessing. I'm not totally sure. So that's what I think. That's what I think we have to get clear on, is which was the way you're used to setting it up. So for your simulation, we have to set this as the 0 and the z down is the 0 and everything, and then that gives it the minus and the plus travels that you want to see happen properly. You know, there's your 1250, and there's your, I put it at minus 600, but I think I saw in your thing it stops. You know, you're going to say minus 200 or whatever it was, right? Which is somewhere around there. And same thing with the v. I just changed some travels while I fool around. We can change all that later. However, which way are you used to setting it up? Are you used to setting your stock on the table as if this was the UCS, or you're doing it this way and wanting to see that? If you are wanting to see that and you need that code output that way, then I think I am going to have to rotate the model back. So anyway, and so that's just a matter, just so you know then now, on the rotated model, this is the model I made the other day, rotated, your all the y and the x is going to be flipped. So on the backwards one, the y is a minus value, and on the x is going to be a positive value. Now on the one that I made facing forward, just to make it work, and this is just for your information until we know which one we want, the y is going to be a positive value and the x is going to be a negative value, and that's how we flip those around so that you don't run into limits. And the other thing is, depending on what you do, again, you're going to have to make sure you set the proper work offsets for the piece. Otherwise, if you put these at 0, this piece over here is going to come out way out over here, which then that's when you're getting the limits tripped, because to cut, it's trying to shoot this over in the x, be in the negative beyond the limits of your x. So you'll have to use the work offset properly with everything. So anyway, what we need to do is I need you to tell me then what your original, the way you want the machine set up. So you might tell me, yeah, rotate it back around the way I had it, and then I'll do that, and I'm just resetting all those zeros on the STLs to be this point. So your rotated STL would just be looking at it from the back, and you'd have to click on the back. Anyway, I'll talk to you in a bit. Bye.